Hey guys, this is Allison from AllyKat Creations. How are you? Like always, please like, share, and subscribe to my content, my videos, anything that you can. That's a way to help me out. But I want to thank you all for doing so because that helps the channel. If you get anything from my work, like a connected dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, artwork to create, please consider supporting my work, my channel. All the descriptions are in the links section where you can help me out monetarily. 3D, 3D. That's where we are in this reality in consciousness. Is a tier for my channel memberships. I only have one tier. It's a really fantastic way to support this channel. As the channel grows, I will up the tiers with more things that you guys will get. But 3D right now, you guys get channel member only videos, and those videos are usually oracle readings. I may head into meditations, and I might also add on content as the channel grows. And you guys get free entries into all my giveaways and raffles. So I do a raffle once a month. This next month, it's April, my birthday season. April 18th is where I will be doing a raffle giveaway, and there will be 3 winners. I just don't know when I'm raffling off yet. Um, I had a nice vending event over the weekend, and I have to see what I sold, what I didn't sell, and see and go from there. But today we're doing a paint and sip, and once again, I don't have it pre-planned. I channel information from source and my guides. So hang with me here. You're gonna need your sip. My sip happens to be coffee because I love coffee. Coffee. You want to put on something that paint cannot ruin your clothes. Or wear clothes that you just don't wear. You need some paper towels. So when you do have your paintbrushes in water, you get to dry the paintbrushes in the water. Fun. So you want paintbrushes. You can go to the store and get a package of paintbrushes. This was actually donated from a beautiful member on this channel. Her name is Ivy. So thank you, Ivy. Um, you can go to the store and get paint kits. You don't need tubes of paint. I might whip them out, by the way. Tubes of paint, it doesn't matter as long as it's paint. And if you don't have these materials in the house and you have color pencils, crayons, you can do the same thing in imagery with those things. Please don't limit the fact and don't feel upset because I just honestly use what I have at my disposal. You might not have the same materials that I do, and please don't get upset about that or spending a plethora amount of money on something you're just here to create and have fun with. So please don't feel obligated to go get those $500 kits with the easel and everything. You work at what you have. You can go to Five Below. They have art supplies, and it doesn't need to cost you that much. But if you have color pencils or crayons, what I'm going to do today can be done on those apparatuses too. So please don't make it too complicated for yourselves. Um, you want palette paper? You could use a palette that you hold in your hand, but I feel with some of the acrylics that I use, they're runny, just because there's oils and stuff in them to keep them hydrated. I like to use the paper. And at the end, it's an easy cleanup. I fold it and throw it out. Um, Canvas, you can do this on what I have in my head. You could do this on anything. Now, I'm going to be using painter's tape today. You don't need to have painter's tape. You can get a ruler or you can literally fold a thick piece of paper to make it your ruler. Okay, it doesn't need to be perfect because mine is not going to be perfect. But as I sip here, blank canvas. You can also use canvas board. I have a bunch of canvas board on the bottom. Someone donated to me. Um, they're harder to, they're more for framing than they are for hanging. Okay, it doesn't matter how thick your tape is. And sometimes it takes, we don't need you, Mr. Tape. You're all ruined. Again, I'm just eyeballing. Eyeballing. Um, I have an idea in my head that I'm going to explore. I like the artist, the portrait artist, Chuck Close. I'm not going to do a portrait, a facial portrait, but I'm going to use his style of painting in what I'm doing. If you want to fold these over, you can. It's not necessary. And you could do the same thing with a ruler. Again, at this point in my life, I try not to be a perfectionist because that's what gets me into a lot of problems and gets me frustrated. And I don't want to be frustrated. I'm past that stage. So, however big your canvas or your piece of paper is, you want to just put some lines. We're making squares with the tape. And no, we're not doing a Modrian. I should have put my hair up, but you know, it is what it is. So you're going to look like you have some plaid going on. This tape has been sitting, so it's not as sticky as I would like, but it's not about it's just about the shapes. I'm gonna have to chicken. Chicken! Fuck, 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 fuck. This is my chicken. He helps me reset my camera. This was made by one of my viewers. Her name is Charlene. She's fantastic. Love Charlene. So once you get the tape onto the canvas, you are going to want to, I'm using black. You can use any color to outline your beautiful canvas or drawing. If you are doing this as a drawing, what I do recommend if you're making the boxes, so I am going to be painting in between these, but it's going to be different. But if, again, it's your creation, use a pencil lightly to measure to do your lines. This way, when you go back into your drawing, you can erase it as you're doing your coloring. So it's not showing. But for the sake of what I'm doing, we're going to do it this way because easy peasy. Once again, if I unfortunately have an unhealthy habit, you gotta thank stress for that. I mean, the white hair is a little stressed probably too, besides genetics. So I'm taking a thin, long tip. It's like a round. Once again, do what you have at your disposal. It does not need to be perfect. I promise you. And getting, when I get feedback from people, um, they just it's just about the process of the making. I'm not here to make a Rembrandt. I'm not doing Rembrandts with you guys, nor do I want to do a Rembrandt. But I want you guys to have fun and get inspired and be creative. So once again, you can do a pattern of your choice. You don't have to have it being squares. I'm just taking my inspiration off of Chuck Close. So what I'm doing up here, and the tape is helping me formulate my lines. Now your lines could be as thin or as thick as possible. Don't be afraid to paint on the tape. That's why it's there. And if there is bleeding in the tape, no worries. What I mean by bleeding in the tape, like, have you ever painted the walls in your house? If you're like me and can't afford, you see, why we have our beautiful paper towels here. If you have ever painted your house and put this tape up on the wall and then all of a sudden you rip it off and there's paint where the tape was, that's bleeding. Nowadays they have specialized paint, like paint coverings. So if I were to let's just say have an American flag and I want to put an image within it or paint it, I would use a specific type of tape, cut out what I would want and put it on the canvas, and then I would paint the flag. And then at the end, either rip it and then paint what I'm doing, or already have painted it, cover it, and then it's a process. I mean, but every artist is different and uses these techniques different. So don't feel shy. Don't feel like you can't. And it doesn't hurt to explore different things to do. I might change up the brush though. I might change this brush up. No, no, no. That might work better. I'm saying that would work better. This tape is junk. I'm using a square brush. As much as I like the round brush, it's just taking a little longer than I would like. So I hope you could see what I'm doing. I'm holding the tape down with my finger as I'm going about the painting. Like I said again, it doesn't need to be perfect. because they're going to paint over it anyway, in a sense. If I really wanted crisp lines, I'd have the tape really small and making very thin lines. You could do that. It's a little quicker when you do that with the pencil and a ruler than it is with tape, because tape has its own thing, as this doesn't want to stick. And I would recommend painter's tape only because it's easy to get off canvas. I always do the sides of my paintings. I know a lot of people don't, and that's okay. You do you. The reason for this is that most people cannot afford the expensive framing that you would put in, and it's not it's different framing for paintings than it is for pictures. Unless you're using a thin board canvas, which doesn't have wooden bars on the back. But to have a painting mounted and framed is not a cheap expense. So I don't have any of my paintings framed. And I'm the artist, right? Like I said, I should have put my hair back. But that's all right. We fix junky tape. And this is where I wish I had the fast speed camera that would make this speed up so that you guys wouldn't have to sit here and view this madness. Again, your lines doesn't have to be thin, they could be thick. So basically that's what you're doing to each of these squares. Okay, guys, so I did pause. I'm almost done. I want you to fill in each of these squares as best as possible. Like I've been saying, it doesn't need to be perfect. Your lines don't have to be perfect. We're just establishing some structure on canvas. Okay, now, once you are done, do not rip the tape off right away. You don't want to do that. You want to set the canvas down to dry. The tape and everything, if it pops up, let it be. Let it be. Now, I want to show you an example. Give me a second. Let me share my screen. You see what Chuck Close did? He added, I'm using this image as an example. So he lined everything out he made a grid. We're not doing exactly this, but it's the style within the grid that we're going to be using. We're going to do some organic shapes in the grids using different colors and whatever you want. But his grid work and his style is pretty fun. I mean, a lot of people have tried to do it, but I think it's a really different approach and something fun that we can use to make our piece. And no, we're not trying to do a facial portrait of any sort. We're just using the organic lines to create our piece. So wait until this dries and then we'll rip the tape off together. Make sure you are sipping. Unfortunately, because of copyright, I can't play music, but you guys should have some music on in the background. Try to meditate, try to get some enjoyment. I know it's tedious in the beginning, but it's going to become more fun once that tape is ripped off and we can start painting. Now, before you rip the paint off, what colors do you want in yours? I'm gonna go with a plethora of different types of colors all together. So once this is dry, then you can set up your colors, you can mix them, whatever have you. Just because of the acrylic dries quickly. So unless you have a big thing made of color, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't make any colors until your canvas is dry. So give that a few minutes and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, your paint should be dry. Ta-da! Does it need to be perfect? No, it does not. For the garbage heap. Ah, you see, there it comes. Oh, this too. Some of these bottled paints you need to shake really well. Once it's just very liquidy and runs. Now I'm going to use a small flat brush, but you can use whatever is at your disposal. And in the squares. What I'm going to do is just create little either outlines or circles. See what I'm doing there? You could put whatever you would like in your squares. If you want to do flowers, if you want to do plaid patterning. And some squares I'm going to do with different colors. I'm just using whatever comes to my brain. So you can use organic shapes, which is any shape that you would like. That's a square, circle, oval, star. Once again, you don't need the paint to be perfected. Happy little accidents via Bob Ross happen. Just go with what your brain is telling you to do. course, the biggest element is to make sure that the paint is not showing canvas and you get a range of color in there. Now I'm just making simple little designs, whatever's coming to my mind, and then I'm going over agree tracing. I'll show you guys in a sec. So I'm keeping like with the purple magenta theme. I'm going to add more color to it. We're going to add some greens and blues and a whole plethora of fun. If you're doing this with children, have fun with it. Explore. See, I'm coloring it in. See, whatever comes to mind, just do in those circles. We're not worried about what's going on out here yet at all. So don't feel obliged to do that. As we can see, I don't use some of these smaller bottles. And they're a pain in the tushy to open. Just be careful that you're not pushing from the bottom or holding from the bottom because the paint will explode if you do. Maybe. It's like taking the tin off of the ketchup bottle. Best way to describe that, or toothpaste. It's a pain in the booty. As we can see, I'm having problems. I got it open. So I'm just putting color around each of the shapes, the organic shapes that I made. So keep going, guys. Okay, now I got some blues. I'm gonna work in. Just want to make sure you guys are not bored, as I can be boring when I'm doing the painting, but I'm just focusing. I get it. That's why if you have a nice playlist going on as you're doing this, and once again, you don't have to do this in one day because this is tedious work. If you have grandchildren that like to paint, it is a very cool project for them. I hope everybody's having a blessed and beautiful day. And it's okay if your colors are not completely dry yet. I don't worry about those things. I hope you don't. And again, you can use whatever colors you want. You're not bound to what I'm using. I'm just using whatever is at my disposal once again. Um, I'm taking a seafoam green color. You also get an arm workout, by the way. I can go back in with some of the colors I already have. Excuse me. Make sure you're taking sips. Just try to do the best that you can. See, that was happy a little accident. I'm going to make it into a not happy accident. We're going to make it work. Just so I know that it's going to dry. I know I'm being so quiet. Quiet. Allergies are still a very bad thing around here. Painting circles on flat, rounded surfaces are not easy. So just try to get your best done. Now this painting's taking a long while, but that's to make up for the very short rain with the umbrella one. Hmm. This box I'm making wavy lines. Hmm. So I hope you got something similar to this or something really fun. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to add a darker green. To the mix. Keep going. Now I'm going to add yellow. And normally I would say paint the background first, but when you don't know what you want to do, it gets a little meticulous. Don't beat yourself up over that. I try not to. Hope you guys are liking this. It's okay if you don't. I won't get upset. Just gonna do this for a sec. Okay, good, you can see it. I don't always look back at the camera. Bad, AllyKat, bad. How did I know that was gonna happen? I want you guys to understand like what I want you to see what I'm doing. I'm just going in with whatever feeling I have for whatever color. I'm not thinking about what I'm using color wise. I'm just looking at it and going, oh, okay, that color would look great there. Like I said, this wasn't a pre-planned. I didn't do it on an iPad. I didn't sketch this out beforehand. This is just me creating in the flow. Intuitively. I know if you watch me and do the spiritual stuff with me, you then understand like creativity is a process, not an easy one. And sometimes we get too much in our head that it's hard sometimes to create because we have to get out of her own way, per se. Going in with lime green. I'm using this metallic purple. Not a fan. It's very watery. Chicken, 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 buck, 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 buck. I hate this camera. Oh, geez, Louise, hang on, guys. Okay, guys. We're not done yet. But your vibrant, cool painting should have a lot of depth to it, a lot of color, awesomeness. It's so fun. Now, for the fun, anticipatory, fun part. You're going to take a thin, a little thicker flat brush. And thicken up those squares. But we're also going to do some fun in the mix. We're going to add some gray and white. Don't worry, we're blending. We still want to know the box is there, but we're kind of going to do like a cross hatching. Blending. Kind of dealy here. So I'm doing it this way. My hands get tired. Make sure you're sipping. So continue filling it in with different grayscale. If you want to mix your grays, you want to mix it on the canvas. Just make sure you can still see the boxes, which you could because she colored them. And it's okay if you go into your little doodle. It happens. It's all part of the process. Keep going. Make sure you sip. Hi, everybody. So just keep coming into your painting. So just keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay, guys, I only paused and redid, well, not redid, but came back on because I know it takes forever to upload when I do stuff for a long period of time. So here is the finished product. Some cool organic shapes, fun, abstract and not abstract at the same time. Um, Sending each and every one of you love, like a passion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder. Be the lighthouse. Seed your truths. Please get creative and inspire yourself to do something, anything. Uh, this took a long time, but it was really worth it. It got me in the zone. It was really nice. If you play music in the background, that helps. Make sure you're sipping. If anybody would like to purchase any one of the Paint&Sipw paintings, those are up for grabs always. Usually I do a few and then I upload it onto the website. But if you're interested, please let me know. I will tell you what the prices are. Not expensive at all. Great. I have an infection starting up here. Wonderful. I feel it. Um, So yeah, if you're interested, please let me know. But if you like this, if you did something similar to it, I would love to see your artwork. I would love to see the creative spark that maybe I or anybody got through to you. So please email me. All of that stuff is at the bottom of the description. I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, your love, your abundance. Light the path forward, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.